Hey, what's up, people? Pizowell here, and today I want to talk to you guys about 1982's WACKO. Now, this is partially going to be a review of the movie as well as a review of this new Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray release. And let me take you guys back to the early 80s. It was the golden era of slasher movies. Everybody from the major studios to low-budget independent producers were trying to capitalize on the success of movies like Halloween and Friday the 13th, to the point where virtually every weekend, a new slasher movie was premiering in theaters. Slasher movies had so inundated cinemas that their popularity spawned not one, but two slasher movie spoofs from the early 80s. One being Student Bodies, which is a fairly well-known, fairly well-respected among horror movie fans movie, and the lesser-known WACKO. Now, I first heard about WACKO many years ago. I can recall renting it from my local video store and having a really fun time watching WACKO, which is why I got really excited recently when Vinegar Syndrome announced that they were releasing the film on Blu-ray with a brand new 4K transfer. And WACKO is about the lawnmower killer, a maniac who dons a large jack-o'-lantern with a very phallic-looking nose strapped onto it. He wears a black outfit, a long black cape because theatrics, and he kills teenagers with a lawnmower. That's right, a lawnmower. Now, it's been 13 years since the lawnmower killer claimed his last victim at the Alfred Hitchcock High School pumpkin prom. And guess who's back in town on the night of Alfred Hitchcock High School's pumpkin prom 13 years later, and his lawnmower is all gassed up. Now, WACKO benefits first and foremost from a fantastic cast. You've got Julia Duffy as the princess, virginal, goody girl. You've got Joe Don Baker as this insane, burned out detective who's obsessed with the lawnmower killer and discovering who the lawnmower killer is. He sleeps in his suit. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He loves coffee, like really loves coffee, and hates lawnmowers. You've got George Kennedy as Julia Duffy's character's dad. He's this creepy, perverted guy who's always peeping in on his daughters during various stages of undress. It's not really funny, more so than it is really creepy and something that would not fly in a movie today at all. Stella Stevens plays Julia Duffy's character's mother. You've also got the big screen debut of Andrew Dice Clay. That's right, the Dice Man makes his big screen debut in WACKO as the character Tony Schlongini. And Mr. Schlongini has his own theme song. When he is introduced in the film, you have this musical number in a stairway in which the Dice Man sings the Tony Schlongini theme song. It is amazing. Now, WACKO plays on all the familiar tropes of not only slasher movies from that era, but also teen sex comedies from that era. You've got a lot of gags, a lot of one-liners. It really feels like they were trying to take a page from Airplane when it comes to the jokes and the sight gags and the one-liners. And most of the jokes and sight gags and one-liners are fairly amusing in this movie. Some of them don't quite land, but I would say the movie, it's batting at least 600, I'll say. 6 out of every 10 jokes, it's pretty amusing. The other 4, not so much. However, WACKO suffers from the same fate that Student Bodies suffered from, and that's that in the third act, both movies just completely derail. Now, WACKO doesn't quite derail as bad as Student Bodies did in its third act, but still, you've got a movie that's all about sight gags, that's all about one-liners, it's all about jokes, and neither movie really knew how to wrap it all up. But in the case of WACKO, they give us this Scooby-Doo reveal and twist, and it's just... nah. All in all, WACKO wasn't quite as entertaining as I recall it being many, many years ago, but I had a fun time watching WACKO. I definitely recommend it. The cast is fantastic in this movie. Most of the jokes are pretty amusing. They land. The Dice Man's character, worth the price of admission alone in my book. Not just a parody of early 80s slasher movies, but also of early 80s teen sex comedies, which I think is an interesting pairing. Overall, I still enjoyed WACKO. I do definitely recommend it. If you're a fan of student bodies, definitely give WACKO a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. This Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of WACKO, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome and adding it to your collection. First, let's check out the presentation. Got some nice artwork there on the sleeve. The sleeve is reversible, and I believe this may be the original poster art on the reverse of the sleeve. This is a DVD and Blu-ray combo pack, and the Blu-ray features a brand new 4K restoration of the film from the 35mm original camera negative. And I have to say, the picture quality on this release was fantastic. I would give it a solid 4 out of 5. Same with the sound quality, a solid 4 out of 5. Great picture quality and great sound quality on this release. As far as extras are concerned, first up, we have Die Laughing. It's an interview with cinematographer Nicola Van Sternberg. It's 7 minutes and 11 seconds in length. Mr. Van Sternberg discusses meeting the director Graydon Clark and creating a lighting scheme based on the screenplay. He discusses working with Graydon Clark and how they would occasionally butt heads during filming. He discusses working with George Kennedy, Joe Don Baker, and Julia Duffy. He discusses how happy he is that the film has lived on all of these years. Brief, but nice interview with Mr. Van Sternberg. We get 9 minutes and 37 seconds of silent outtakes for the film. We get a theatrical trailer, and we get an audio commentary with producer and director Graydon Clark. I listened to about 25 minutes of the film with Mr. Clark's commentary. Mr. Clark discusses developing the script, casting the movie, working with very seasoned actors like Joe Don Baker and George Kennedy, and also working with younger actors like Julia Duffy. Pretty nice, entertaining, informative commentary from Mr. Clark. This is a very nice Blu-ray release for WACKO from the folks over at Vinegar Syndrome. If you've not seen the movie, I recommend it. This Blu-ray would be a great way to introduce yourself to the film. If you're a fan of WACKO, you definitely want to look into picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. You got a great picture quality and sound quality and some very nice extras on this release. If you've seen WACKO, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite horror parody or horror satire movie is down in the comment section below as well. I'll also post a link to Vinegar Syndrome's website in the description. Go over and check them out. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons: Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Robert Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Mitch Odell, Farron Sutton, Craig Farrand, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Joseph Charlesworth, Chris Earls, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Mr. Bibby 86, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Alan Scott, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Lauren Dixon, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Parsons, Chris Gonzalez, Trenton Bowser, and Jason Breitenbach. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.